Dear students, this is the third unit of the block 4, that is detailed meanings of the federalisms. Now come to the meaning of the federalisms. When we're talking about the federalisms, that is a system of governance in which power is constantly divided between a central governments and a smaller political units, such as a state, provinces, and regions. This division of power allow each level of governments to operate independently in certain area while sharing authority in others. The central idea of federalism is to balance the power between the national and regional governments and ensure that both can govern effectively within their own spheres of influences. The constitutional division of powers, that is centrals and the regional governments. Federalism is rooted in the constitutions that delineates the power and responsibility of the central governments and those of the regional government. These powers are usually categorized into the following way, that is exclusive powers, power that are solely within the jurisdictions of either the central or regional governments. Second is that is concurrent powers, powers that both the central and regional governments can exercise. Residual powers, powers that are not explicitly mentioned in the constitutions and are usually granted to either the central or regional governments depending upon the country constitutional framework. These are the important constitutional division of power. Next is that is called the dual governance system. The national and regional authority. Federalism established a two-tiered system of governance where both national and regional governments have their own set of law, officials, and institutions. Each level of government has a authority to legislate and govern within its domains, allowing for a more localized and tailored approach of the governance. This is the dual system of governance. Another meaning of the federalisms, that is autonomy and independence, that is self-governance. Regional government in a federal systems have the authority to govern themselves in a certain area without interference from the central government. This autonomy allow regions to implement policy that reflect the unique needs and preference of their populations. This is very important parts of the federalism. Second is independent functioning. Both level of government functions independently of one another in their respective area of jurisdictions, ensuring that regional government can make decisions on local matters without central outside. These are the important or detailed meaning of the federalism. Now come to the shared sovereignty. When we're talking about the shared sovereignty, that is joint governments. In a shared federal system, sovereignty is shared between the central or regional government, while the central government holds authority in matters of national importance such as defense, foreign policy. Regional governments exercise control over the local affairs such as education and public health. These are the very important parts of the shared sovereignty. Second is that is called the balance of the powers. This is balancing unit and diversity. Federalisms allow for the unified national policy in area of a broad importance while enabling regional governments to address the specific needs of their populations, thereby accommodating diversity within the nations. These are called the shared sovereignty of the federalisms. Next is called the legals and constitutional frameworks, that is rule of law. Federalisms operate under the rule of law with the constitution serving as the supreme legal documents that guides the division of powers. All level of governments are bound by the constitutions, ensuring that neither the central nor regional governments exceed their authority. Second important thing, that is judicial review. Courts, particularly constitutional court, play a crucial role in interpreting the constitutions and resolving disputes between the central and regional government. This ensures that the division of power is respected and that any conflict are resolved by in the accordance within the law. This is very important parts of the meaning of constitutionalism. Next is that is called it is intergovernmental relations, cooperations and coordinations. Federalisms require ongoing communications and cooperations between the centrals and regional government. This can take the form of intergovernmental councils, joint committee, or regular negotiations to ensure that both level of governments work together effectively. Second important thing that is conflict resolutions. Mechanisms are often in a place to resolve conflicts that may arise between the centrals and regional governments, helping to maintain harmony and prevents of their struggles. These are very important meaning of the federalisms. Now come to the next part, that is called the fiscal federalisms. Federalism related to the sharing of revenue. In a federal system, financial resources are distributed between the centrals and regional governments, allowing each level of government to find its operations and fulfill its responsibility. These are the very important part. Taxations and spending. Both level of government typically have the authority to levy taxes and spend money within their jurisdictions, giving regional governments the financial independence needed to govern effectively. These are the very important parts of the meaning of federalism. Now come to the important things, that is representations of regional interest. Bicameral legislatures. Many federal systems features a bicameral legislature with one chambers representing the populations at the large and others representing the interest of the regions or the state. This ensures that regional voices are heard in a national decision making. Protections of regional rights. Federalisms often include provisions that protect the rights and interests of regional governments, and also these types of preventing the central government from encroaching the regional autonomy. This is very important parts of the representations of regional interest. Next is that is called the examples of the federalisms, like the United States. United States America Constitution establishes a clear division of power between the federal governments and the state, with each level of governments having its own responsibility and the authority. Second is Germany. The Germany federal systems is an outline in the basic law divide power between the central governments and the landers. Lander is they are called the state, each of which has the significant autonomy in the area such as education and the policing. India federal structures allow for a strong central government while also granting significant power to the state to manage their own affairs, especially in the area such as health and the agriculture. This is also very important things. And fourth important part, that is Canada. The Canadian constitutions divide power between the federal governments and the provinces, with each level of governments having authority over certain aspects of governance, such as healthcare and education. These are the important examples of the federalisms. Now come to the last PPT, that is called the conclusions related to the meaning of federalisms. When we're talking about the federalisms, it is a very complex and dynamic system of governance that seek to balance the need for a unified national policy with desire for local autonomy by dividing powers between the center and regional governments. Federalisms allow for a more responsive and adaptive approach to the governance, particularly in large or diverse country. It's promote both unity and diversity, enabling regions to maintain their unique identity while being part of a larger national framework. This is the part of the conclusions related to the meaning of federalisms. Thank you for hearing the lectures of the detailed meaning of the federalisms. Thank you once again.